What is going on, everyone? Let's talk about Minneapolis, Minnesota, a nice northern city that I've spent some time in off and on over the years. This is a city that's been getting a whole bunch of bad press lately. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'd like to be the first one to welcome you back from your coma. After you catch up on the news, you might want to go back into that coma. Minneapolis is the largest city in the state of Minnesota, and it's the 16th largest metropolitan area in the United States. It has just under 400,000 residents, with the metro area having just over 3.5 million. Their mayor is Jacob Frey, and I really feel sorry for that dude right now. As I'm recording this, June 5th, 2020, there are serious riots in his city and all over the world because of his city. We'll get into that later on. Minneapolis was incorporated in 1867 and has the nickname of the City of Lakes. Nobody uses that one, everyone calls it the Twin Cities, because it's right next to St. Paul. Minneapolis, in my opinion, is a great city with very friendly people. It's a great town for sports and outdoor activities, and drinking beer if you're into that. It just isn't for everyone. And that's what this list is all about, things you should know before you move to Minneapolis. I'm not saying this place is bad. It's not. I'm just saying these are the things the city's website and real estate agents won't tell you about. Let's take a look. Number 10, the Seattle Freeze of the Midwest. Minneapolis and Seattle have this thing they're known for. In Seattle, it's called the Seattle Freeze. People freeze you out. Basically, they will be friendly to you, but they won't become your friend. Outsiders say it's difficult to break into their inner circle of family and friends. If you try, their attitude is sort of like, "We grew up here and we have enough friends, thanks for trying." There's a saying in this part of the country, Minnesotans will give you the directions to everywhere but their house. I've read both Seattle and Minnesota get this from their Scandinavian history. I guess that's how the Vikings rolled back in the day. So if you move here, bring some friends, buy a dog, try not to pick up a drinking habit, because people tend to drink a lot when they're lonely. Number 9, the jobs. There aren't many outdoor jobs compared to the rest of the country in Minneapolis, and the ones they do have suck a good portion of the year because of the weather. If you move to the Lake City, be prepared to work in a call center or some other indoor desk job. Don't forget to have a picture of a tropical island on your desk. If you do work in a call center, it helps get your mind off the last a-hole you talk to. I suggest everyone take a job at least once in a call center. You will gain a world of knowledge. Like the representative you're talking to is probably doing a puzzle while you yell at them, and they've tuned you out completely. When you get angry and threaten to sue the company, they don't care. They really don't care. That's not going to go anywhere past their ears. It's going to be a forgotten thing because most companies get that threat a dozen times every 20 minutes. I'm not even kidding. Really, they just don't care in the slightest. If for some reason the company does fold from, say, countless lawsuits, they'll just get another call center job, rinse and repeat. But if you do work in Minneapolis, chances are you're going to be indoors if you want to work all year round. Number 8, high DUI rate. Minneapolis has one of the highest rates of drunk driving in the nation. They're always in the top 10, and it seems like everyone in the city is doing it. But that doesn't make it okay. It's not one of those things where you get pulled over, drunk driving, bowl of grape jello, a goat, a drinking buddy, and the cop lets you go with a warning. No, you're going to be arrested. They're aware of the drunk driving stats, and they will cut you no slack. Besides getting hauled off to jail, you have your car impounded, calling a bail bondsman, a lawyer, insurance rates go through the roof, and various court dates. It is expensive to be charged with drunk driving, or DUI, or whatever you want to call it. You also have to consider the people you could hurt while driving under the influence. It's really not worth it, both financially, emotionally, and every other kind of ully. There's no excuse these days. I mean, honestly, you've got Uber, you've got Lyft, you've got friends, you've got public transportation, you even have taxis. Wait, never mind. This is Minneapolis and you probably won't have any friends there. But there's still no reason to be out drunk driving. Number 7, housing prices are high. Minneapolis is in the Midwest, and most of the Midwest cities have seen just a slight increase in home prices year after years and years of decline. Not Minneapolis. They have other plans. They've been gaining a little more than a lot of the other big cities in this part of the country, year over year. I mean, before the COVID-19 and riot stuff. Just by looking at Zillow, the prices sort of go like this. If you get anything for around $200,000, it's going to be small, it's going to need some work, and it's probably not in the best neighborhood. Get up around $350,000, it is a newer house. The neighborhood is a little bit better, but it's not great. Now, obviously, this isn't the worst in the country. It's actually a little past middle of the road. Most people, though, expect this area to be a lot lower, and I think they get a little bit of a sticker shock when they get to Minneapolis. I was looking at condos that are, nice condos, decent ones and stuff like that. In downtown, we're going for like $650,000 for a 2-bedroom. That's like California and New York prices, not Minneapolis. Number 6, the weather. This is a tale of two cities. If you visit Minnesota twice, once in the summer and once in the winter, you won't see the same city. It will be the same city, it's just unrecognizable. It is green and warm and humid in the summer, and then it's covered in snow and people are wearing parkas in the winter. Now, to be fair, it does have 4 seasons. Just 2 of them are too short to enjoy or remember, and the other 2 can be unbearable. Summers can get hot and are always humid, and they're always full of mosquitoes. There's just far too much water around this city. Mosquitoes are everywhere. Fall is too short to enjoy. Winters are long, cold, dark, snowy, and really makes you question losing all that weight during the summer. Vitamin D is your friend here. Minnesota is known for its cold. Minneapolis is the coldest major city in the United States. And then you get to spring. Spring should be pleasant and wonderful. It's too short and it's muddy. Number 5, not for green thumbs. Now this one isn't going to sound like a big deal to half of you, but another half, it is a big deal. I don't think so. I don't garden, but gardening is a big part of a lot of people's life. My daughter being one of them. Like I said, this video isn't telling you not to move someplace. It's telling you things you should know before you make that decision. So stop typing. I get that all the time. As soon as I say anything like this that's kind of, not that big of a deal, people just start leaving lame comments. Oh, like someone's not supposed to move someplace because you can't garden? Yes, that is a reason. Combined with other reasons most of the time, just like there's not enough dog parks is a big deal to someone. That is a really weird one though. I've learned that since I've been doing these videos. That's one of the top search things before crime and traffic is it a dog-friendly city and do they have dog parks? I always thought that one was weird. Anyway. So that just kind of goes to show you that things that don't matter to you probably matter a lot to other people. Anyway, moving on. A new study lists Minneapolis as the 5th worst city in the U.S. for green thumbs. The study also said that temperatures are too frigid, the precipitation levels are less than ideal, and the growing season only lasts 161 days. It could be worse. Ranking the worst slots were Hartford, Connecticut, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Providence, Rhode Island, and Bismarck, North Dakota. When it comes to the best cities, though, you got to head to Florida or California. They had like the top 15 spots, those 2 states. Number 4, dressing in layers. If you come from a warm climate, you probably have no idea what this is all about. It's a new term for you. It's called dress in layers. In cold weather, you need to learn this. If this isn't something you want to do, I suggest moving to Atlanta. It's nice there. You'll never have to worry about it. Dressing in layers is an art form, kind of. There's 3 layers. You have your base layer, which is polyester, silk, or some other material that has the ability to take sweat off of your skin. Just don't use cotton shirts as a base layer. This absorbs the moisture fine, but it won't evaporate and it kind of keeps you cold the whole time. Then you got your middle layer. This is very important. This is the insulation layer. Sweater, sweatshirt, fleece. These will all work as a middle layer. It should be snug, but not too tight. I don't care how fit you are. Tight sweaters look weird on everyone but supermodels. And then you have your outer layer. The most important layer of all. This layer is less about keeping you warm and more about blocking the wind and the rain. If you really want to stay warm, make your outer layer a windproof, waterproof shell type thing, like a rain jacket. Ideally, they have vents around the armpits to allow the sweat to evaporate. You'll see this on some of the really higher end rain jackets and things like that. If you're ever in the military and you owned Gore-Tex, a Gore-Tex jacket, they had all that stuff. If you really want to get fancy though, the outer shell made of specially engineered materials like Gore-Tex work great. It's probably why the Army has been using them forever. And that is my presentation of dressing in layers. Number 3. Driving. Driving in Minneapolis is a skill that is learned from many years of experience. Driving in a cold weather climate is a lot different than any other climate. When you move here, take it slow and take advice from people that have lived here a while. There's no city in the United States better equipped to deal with cold weather and snow removal than Minneapolis. That said, sometimes the accumulation of snow happens so rapidly that you're forced to drive in snow-covered roads. They just can't keep up sometimes. It happens that fast. In those cases, there's some skill involved that you can research, like turning into the slide, things like that. Just the obvious stuff, learn about it, figure out what it is. But I would find a vehicle with four-wheel drive, a good clearance, and keep your tires updated so you're not driving down the road on bald tires. That doesn't go well in snow. Also, keep sand or kitty litter with a shovel in the trunk of your car to help dig yourself out. You put the kitty litter and stuff down by your tires so they don't just spin, they actually get some traction. Yeah, it works. You will eventually get to the point where you are driving in conditions that are dangerous or just don't make you comfortable. There's no shame in pulling over and figuring out your next move. Trust me on that one. I would keep those situations down to a minimum, and I think most employers will understand you were driving into work and you wet your pants on black ice and you're not going to be in today. So, yeah. Number 2, not a good place to be a cop. If you've been following the news, you've already scratched relocating to Minneapolis for any sort of law enforcement work. Wallet Hub ranks the entire state of Minnesota as the 5th worst state in the nation to be in law enforcement. Many things went into that, like working conditions, pay, weather, life-work balance, etc. Now, in Minneapolis, you have a police department that's considered one of the worst in the state to work for. And now job security may be on the table as a negative. Right now, politicians at the city and state level are considering disbanding the entire Minneapolis Police Department and starting fresh in light of recent events. I'd get into all that, but I don't think I should be. Maybe it is a good thing, though. Maybe it's not. I don't know. What I do know is the crime rate in Minneapolis is 112% higher than the Minnesota average. The Minneapolis crime rates are also 82% higher than the national average. Now, here's a good one. Violent crime rates in the city are 108% higher than the national average. Those aren't good numbers. They don't reflect nicely on a police department that's already embattled. And number 1, A Tale of Two Cities. Again. So, about Minneapolis. They are in the top 10 of a lot of different stats, including racial inequality. The Twin Cities area has some of the most tilted numbers on racial inequality in the nation. Here's some quick bullet points. The median black family in the Twin Cities area earns $38,000 a year, which is less than half the median white family's income of $84,000 a year. This income inequality gap is one of the largest in the nation. Only nearby Milwaukee, Wisconsin has a little bit worse. Before the pandemic, the black unemployment rate in Minnesota was at a historic low. That's great, but it was still double the white rate. In 2016, the Twin Cities area's black unemployment was more than 3 times the white unemployment rate. In 2019, the incarceration rate for blacks in the Twin Cities area was 11% higher. Now, these numbers aren't just the police. They're troubling numbers that cause a sense of unfairness. They create a feeling of hopelessness, desperation, anger. And we've seen all that boil over in the recent weeks. Minneapolis is a great city with wonderful people. It just has a bunch of things it really needs to work on. Like I said, if you're thinking about moving there, remember some of the things on this video. If they are deal breakers, or any of them deal breakers, take a look at Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It's just east of Minneapolis, and it's a really nice place to live. Alright, so that's today's video. I want to give a quick shout out to all the channel members. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget all the links below. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you like what we're doing here, please feel free to subscribe. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.